I watched your movie, The Marksman,
Uh-huh.
and I loved it.
Oh, great. Thanks, man. I'm
I
glad to hear that.
maybe I'm just at the right time in my life right now with whatever drama's going around me. That's nothing that you need to worry about. But I needed a little bit of righteousness, a little bit of justice, a
Uh-huh.
little bit of, hey, this is your responsibility. You said you'd take care of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That scene in the church, I cried my eyes out.
Oh,
Like genuinely, I was sitting by myself and just weeping. I thought it was beautiful.
well, thank you, man.
So thank you for
Appreciate that.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that it moved you.
It really did. Well, so tell me, like, how far back does this go? Has this been like a nugget in the back of your mind for so and so amount of time, or did the script come across your desk?
The script came across my desk in a little bit different form several years ago. Let's see, I guess it was 2017, maybe. And there were there was a lot of things I really liked about it, sort of this Western aspect it had that I really liked, and it's a road movie aspect, which I liked. And as a filmmaker, those are fun movies to make. And so I kind of got excited about it. At the time, the characters weren't quite what I liked, so that's how I got involved with Chris, Charles, and Danny Kravitz, the original draft writers, and worked with them in redoing the characters to a point where I could really embrace them and want to live with them over the course of a year making this movie. And I thought, at the time it was kind of a timely subject in that it deals a little bit with immigration and the border issues and so forth. And so I thought, well, it's got a lot of things that I think make sense. And so I got involved in it and wanted to direct it.
Sure. I haven't shown it to her yet, but my mom is from Honduras,
Oh, really?
which gets name
Yeah.
dropped. So at some point in the near future, I'm gonna show it to her, and I think that she's really gonna enjoy it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I tried to read a lot about all the folks there coming across the border, trying to make that a part of it as authentic as possible. And so,
yeah,
a lot of folks from Honduras coming across the border, understandably so.
I can definitely, just I can tell that you did your research. It's very authentic. Um, but was it always going to be Liam? How does that process go of casting?
You know, Liam, I thought the role required somebody that could be both fearsome and tough, and you can believe that, but also kind and understanding, and you can believe that too. And Liam is just a master at being able to move between those two personalities, those two characters, and so I thought he was ideal for the role, and he liked the idea that he's playing a character that is his age, and so as far as I was concerned, I was thrilled to get him. I think he's underrated as an actor, and this was, for me, I didn't see it as a typical Liam Neeson action movie. I saw it as a character drama that was a thriller, and so did he, and that's what we set out to make. And I think that we succeeded in that, and it's different than a lot of the movies that he has made of late, which are mainly shoot 'em up, fisticuffs. This has got a little bit more of a character drive to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's there's movies that, whether they're great or not, you can see if the actor can if they can do it on autopilot.
Yeah.
And there's more than enough meat on this guy's bones, on the character's bones, that you can just see it. You can see Liam really diving in, and it's great.
Yeah,
It's a
thank
really
you.
great performance.
He's terrific. He's a wonderful actor, great to work with. I was thrilled to get him.
I have a question about a scene. It's a little specific,
Okay.
but the woman at the gas station,
Oh yeah.
does she have a more explicit R-rated fate? Is there like a missing thing there? Is there something that you can share? If not, you can just say pass.
No, that's pretty much it. There was a sort of a little slightly more violent version of it, but that we cut back. But no, that role, I was, he comes in, Liam's character comes in asking for an atlas, and she doesn't quite know what that is because she says everybody just Googles things on the phone. So I wanted to find somebody who was young enough that might not be familiar with atlases. So I was looking for a young actress to play that part, and somebody who was vulnerable and that you would be could be threatened by the villain. So that's how we ended up with Amber, and she's terrific. And I think she actually went on from this movie, or the next movie she did, she's in Ice Road with Liam. She actually plays like she's a much bigger part in that movie, in that film.
Nice. Kind of, you kind of hinted at it, but is there ever like tell me about that editing and settling and compromising and like just fighting to get the PG-13 versus the R, and the cutting before and after. Like, how much of the blood can you show? Is that just like a mind screw for you, or is it just part of the deal?
Yeah, I've been through it a lot with movies I produced with Clint. We had a lot of battles trying to. Actually, the last movie I did, Trouble with the Curve, even they gave me an R rating on that movie when I first turned it in, and I couldn't believe it. There was just a silly little joke in there that they felt turned it into an R, and it was a joke that I thought went right over the heads of anybody young. So, but I had to cut it out. So on this one, I shot it as an R film. Actually, it read as an R film, and so that's the way we shot it. And then when we got done, we realized we were actually not that far from a PG-13, and that it might open it up to let more people see it. So we went ahead and made some cuts to bring it into a PG-13. We had to go through several rounds of cuts to get it just right. Just kept shaving off more frames and more frames until they said, okay, that'll work.
I don't suppose there's any plans to release a longer version, or is that just for parties at your house?
Yeah, I think it's not drastically different. I don't think that anybody would really get anything out of it.
Sure, just a couple frames here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, it hits hard. Feels like it always feels like a weird thing to say. It's usually in the context of horror movies, but you've got some good kills in there.
Well, I wanted the villain to seem ruthless and threatening and dangerous, and he doesn't, even when he's not on screen, because for so much of the time they're apart, and so you're with Jim, Liam's character, and the young boy, or somebody else, and so I wanted to be sure that you knew that this danger was lurking out there. So when we do see him, he has to be really tough and ruthless.
It justifies our maybe it's just my male lizard brain of paying evil unto evil.
Yeah.
But even the movie itself kind of says, ease on that mindset. It's really provocative in its storytelling in that way of kind of the deconstructing that macho ideal.
Yeah, and then even in terms of the villain at the end too, and kind of understanding his motivation and so forth, which a little twist there for people.
Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about the little boy, the child actor whose name escapes me right this second.
Jacob Perez,
who is fantastic, and just I just want to give him a big old hug. how do you build chemistry between him and Liam? Do they hang out in between takes, or is it just
Yeah.
acting?
They definitely hung out. I mean, he was such a find. He hadn't made a movie before, and so I got some resistance from the producers, of casting a kid who had really had so little experience. But he had the swagger to him that I just felt like I can believe this guy could. He's young and youthful and innocent, but at the same time, I kind of believe that he could endure this kind of trauma and still come out, on top at the end. And so I was excited about him, and I showed his audition to Liam, and told him, I had some concerns because he hadn't done anything, but Liam said, no, I really like this kid as well. And Liam assured me, he says, I'll help you get the performance out of him. We can work together to do it. So having that support was terrific. Yeah, they would spend a lot of time in that truck cab together, and I could hear them on my contacts, and Liam giving him little notes and telling him, speak up here and emphasize that. So it was really helpful throughout.
That's great. I'm thinking about how this is one of the bigger, pandemic hits, the pandemic successes, kind of a movie that was like, hey, is that the number one for how many weeks?
Yeah.
And it's still not blockbuster numbers just because of the pandemic, but in like an industry that's almost literally on life support, I think that it's definitely a hit.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks at number one, and I think it was like 12 weeks in the top 10, which is pretty remarkable. That's a testament to Liam. He's just he has a great fan base, and people enjoy watching him, and he's just a good actor.
Yeah, there's one line in particular that I think hits so much harder than you maybe expected when you were making it. Maybe you've gotten this before, but when a little boy says to Liam, I wish we could have had a funeral for my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people in the past year, myself included, who wish that we could have had funerals for our loved ones.
That's really, it hadn't even occurred to me. So that's an interesting observation. Very, very interesting observation. Yeah. I can see how that could hit. It's also funny because we almost cut that line out a couple times because I was concerned that it might hit a little too on the nose, but we found a way, I think, to keep it in there. But yeah, that is a remarkable thing. The whole experience of releasing this movie during a pandemic has been just really bizarre and a little bit frustrating. I'm excited that it's finally coming out in VOD and DVD so that more people can see it. It's just so few people, it feels like, have actually seen the movie.
Sure. Yeah, I think this one is going to have long legs. It had long legs at the box office, such as it was.
Yeah.
And I don't see why it wouldn't extend that to, this new ecosystem of everyone's watching at home now.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope people have, take the time to look at it and know that it's not just an action shoot 'em up, that there's a story to it, and that, that could appeal to a much broader audience. So I hope more people take a look.
Totally. It's got some great shooting, but it's also got a lot of heart, a lot of soul, a lot of character, just like the rest of your movies. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for your work. I've been a fan for a really long time.
Oh, thank you very much, man.
And I hope I get to catch you on the next one.
All right. I look forward to it.